We begin this drama with Kang Mi Rae, a chubby girl who is teased by everyone, and despite standing up for herself, things were getting worse, so she decided to lose weight, but it didn't work. The teasing continued, and when she was rejected by the boy she liked, he told her she was so ugly no one would ever kiss her. The bullying was so intense that she was on the verge of self-disenrollment. Just then, a woman came along and saved her from doing it. When she graduated and was about to go off to college, she convinced her mother to get facial surgery so she could start over. The first day of school arrives, and we see Myra's face, which doesn't look natural at all. She meets her best friend Hyun-jun and starts noticing all the boys staring at her, but since she basically has no confidence or self-esteem, she thinks they're staring at her because she's ugly. And here comes our poisonous girl. Wait a minute, you'll understand. Her name is Suah, and when she sees Myra, she decides they'll be friends because they're both so pretty. Our protagonist is stunned by the word friend, becoming deeply moved by this unprecedented event. Myra observes the popular Kyung Seok, a mysterious boy whose mother abandoned him when he was little and believes her to be dead. Following the entrance protocol, all students must introduce themselves, and the first to do so is Kyung Seok. They are all fascinated by how handsome he is, except for Myra, who panics because she remembers that he studied at the same high school as her and is afraid that he will recognize her and reveal her dark past to everyone. When it is Myra's turn, this guy here, who we are going to call a dirty old man because he is almost 35 and has not graduated, in addition to harassing the first years, tells his friend that he likes girls who have surgery because they are easy. Later they have a dance competition to get to know each other, and although at first Myra is embarrassed, she then dances as if she were Shakira, and everyone there applauds her while Kyung Seok looks at her with love and remembers Myra from their school days. Myra calls her mother and tells her that for the first time she feels happy, and Kyung Seok goes out to look for her, but Myra hides. She runs into the dirty old man, and for some reason, Myra can't say no and ends up in a room with him. She feels in danger, and when she tries to leave, he blocks her at the entrance, and just at that moment, the door opens forcefully, knocking the dirty old man to the floor. Kyung Seok tells them that since he saw them alone, he wanted to know if they were kissing. The stalker has no choice but to leave. Kyung Seok worries about Myra and asks if she's the girl from his old school where he was the most popular and all the girls wanted his body, but Myra lies to him, telling him she isn't. The day of the entrance ceremony arrives, and Kang Mi Rae's father doesn't even recognize her, learning that his daughter had surgery up to her soul, so he gets angry and leaves. It's basically the first day of official classes, and Kang Mi Rae arrives with her friends, and the dirty old man is waiting for her in the front row. He tells the protagonist to sit next to him, and since she doesn't know how to say no, she goes and sits with him, and then tells her let's have lunch together, but your friend shouldn't come, and the idiot doesn't accept. At lunch, this man comes right out and asks her to be his girlfriend. She runs to the bathroom, and at that moment, the poisonous woman arrives and, with her innocent face, hints that she's in love with him. He decides to reject Kang Mi Rae, and when she returns from the bathroom, he tells her that he doesn't want anything to do with her. This whole scene is witnessed by gossipmonger Kyung Seok, and in defense of Myra, he kicks her out, causing her to fall to the floor. This obviously angers him greatly, and he tries to hit him, but misses. This guy is just embarrassing anyway. Myra summons her courage and joins the fight, but the dirty old man pushes her, and just when it seems she's about to fall, Kyung Seok grabs her from behind, almost touching her butt, and Myra's soul explodes with joy. Then the bully's friends manage to calm him down, and Myra realizes everyone is staring at them, so she backs away in embarrassment and shyly leaves. But Kyung Seok stays to pick up their food and discovers that Myra has dropped her perfume. So Kyung Seok ignores the other girls who tell him he's very cute and gives the perfume to Myra, who is smitten with love. Kyung Seok asks her again if she's the girl from his school, and Myra has no choice but to confess the truth and says yes. Kyung Seok then has to leave, and Myra is afraid of reliving the bullying she suffered when she was little because she thinks Kyung Seok will spread the rumor around school. Later, Myra goes to a party where she stares at him non-stop. The poisonous woman who claimed to be her friend tells everyone about her plastic surgery, making her look ridiculous. However, Kyung Seok defends her and says she acts good, but she's actually a bad person. After that, the dirty old man teases her again, calling her a plastic monster. Myra, fed up, hits him with her bag and yells at him for being a jerk. Myra sadly walks off and runs into Kyung Seok, who goes to comfort her, but Myra runs into Goyan, a boy from her school who is very kind. However, Kyung Seok tries to take her home, and the two argue over her love, but in the end, Myra decides to go alone. The next day, Myra feels like everyone is judging and staring at her again, but Kyung Seok doesn't care what others say and approaches her. Kyung Seok asks her why she patted her face, and Myra confesses that she used to be very ugly and wanted to be as pretty as her friends, but Kyung Seok doesn't understand because he shouldn't classify people by their beauty, and what he should change is his insecure mentality. Afterwards, the dirty old man uses his superior power to threaten the new girls, among whom is Myra, grabs her by the neck and throws her to the ground to hit her more, until Kyung Seok gives him a flying kick that leaves him without teeth. However, the dirty old man fights back and tries to hit her with a rag, but Kyung Seok is stronger than him and makes him taste his delicious fists. Afterward, Kyung Seok gives her a cold look, so Myra arrives home sadly and lies to her mother, telling her she's fine. Her mother notices something's wrong and gives her a hug that comforts her soul and gives her strength. The next day, everyone talks about the fight and how cute Kyung Seok looks. Then, the best friend no one wants to have apologizes to Myra because it turns out the dirty old man is being mean because of her because she rejected him. The two make up, and Soo-ae takes the opportunity to ask if Kyung Seok is her boyfriend since he treats her so special, but Myra embarrassedly replies that that's impossible. However, when they cross paths, Kyung Seok asks her to eat together, and Myra asks him why such a cute boy would notice such an ugly girl. Kyung Seok tells her that she's very cute and that beauty is secondary. Later, in chemistry class, Myra burns her finger, and Kyung Seok worries about her, but it's Go-yeon who heals her finger, which makes Kyung Seok jealous. However, Soo-ae wants all the attention for herself and pretends to be hurt so Go-yeon can help her. When Myra goes to touch some glass, Kyung Seok yells at her not to cut herself, but it's Go-yeon who grabs her arm, and Kyung Soo is jealous because he's the one who wants to feel her skin. Later, Soo-ae discovers that Kyung Seok cleaned up after her, but Kyung Seok tells her not to get her hopes up and that she did it for Myra, who is attending a perfume event because her dream is to be a perfumer, since as a child, she was told that the beauty of a perfume is not in the sight but in the smell. There, Myra discovers Kyung Seok's mother, who has returned to the city without Kyung Seok's knowledge, and the two like each other so much that his mother invites her to drinks and discovers that she was the woman who saved her when she was about to jump off the bridge. Kyung Seok's mother told him that beauty wasn't that important, and that's why he didn't jump off the bridge, but now that he's had facial surgery, he feels like he has betrayed her. Then, Kyung Seok appears, and when he sees his mother, he stiffens and gets angry at Myra because he is fighting with his mother. Kyung Seok remembers that his mother went crazy a long time ago, and he had to watch his father take her away screaming, which has left a wound in his heart that torments him every day and makes him distrust others. Because of this, he doesn't look at Myra in class, which hurts him deeply, but of course, his love is too great, and he needs to sit next to her, which causes gossip about them. Kyung Seok asks her not to tell anyone about his mother, and Myra tells him she would never do that, but Kyung Seok tells her that he hates people who break their word. Look, feeling attacked, she retorts that she hates people who don't trust others. We see their personalities clash, but the more they fight, the more they love each other. Suddenly, Kyung Seok approaches, but when she tries to seduce him, Kyung Seok rejects her faster than I can a plate of spinach. Meanwhile, Myra realizes a man is spying on them and manages to catch him and take him to the police station, but it turns out he's just a boy who is passing by. Myra says they've been spying on her for days, and that she's in danger. Kyung Seok decides to protect her. To do so, he invites her out on a date where he tells her the truth about his mother and how she affected him as a child. Myra tells him that she was also angry with her father because he was against her plastic surgery, but that she's gotten over it. So Myra tells him that she has a big heart, but she must forgive her mother because sooner or later she'll regret it. Afterwards, they talk about when Kyung Seok laughed at her at the bus stop and how it still hurts, but Kyung Seok confesses that he didn't laugh at her to make fun of her, but because he found her dancing feet funny. Myra is so happy that she gets drunk. Since she can't walk in a straight line, Kyung Seok grabs her so she doesn't hurt herself and brings his lips, which are burning to kiss her, closer to her. Kyung Seok tells her to be careful with the cars and lets her go, but Myra realizes that her feelings for Kyung Seok have changed and she's now crazy about him. Later, Kyung Seok starts doing the dance Myra used to do when she was little and asks her to do it, but Myra feels sorry for him and doesn't insist. Then, she confesses a hidden truth, that Kyung Seok got mad at her once in school because she was wearing the same perfume his mother used when she went crazy, and that hurt her soul. However, now Kyung Seok tells her that he loves her perfume and asks if he can take her home, but Myra prefers to go alone, and they separate while Kyung Seok asks for one more kiss with his eyes. Then, Their relationship changes completely, and Meyer gets nervous just looking at him. Meyer tries to run away, but some boys stop her and she bumps into Kyung Seok, who asks her if she's going to do something at the school festival, but Meyer tells him that she's busy and runs away from his lips. However, her friend asks her to help out at the festival, and Go Yun is in the room. When they meet, he notices a burning tension. It turns out that Go Yun is looking for a house because he doesn't have anywhere to live and runs into Ha Yoon, who decides to help him as he thinks she's very pretty. Meanwhile, Kyung Seok catches his sister doing a live show and asks his father not to take her abroad, but his father tells him it's an obligation. However, Kyung Seok tells her he's a liar because the reality is that he's pushing her away because he doesn't want rumors to spread before the election, since his father wants to be the mayor of the city. Kyung Seok yells at his father for being selfish and calls Meyer looking for comfort, but she doesn't answer because she's with Go Yun and Ha Yoon drinking and having a good time. Kyung Seok finds out, and Meyer doesn't know what to say or do. Kyung Seok joins him on the date, and Ha Yoon tells him he's very cute and looks like a famous singer, but Kyung Seok brushes it off and only notices Meyer. Go Yun asks him if he likes Meyer, and to hide his feelings, Kyung Seok pretends not to, even though he actually wants to spend his life with her. Later, the school festival arrives, and Meyer is so tired that she asks to be replaced, so Kyung Seok offers to take her place with all his love. After this, Sol appears, a boy who turns out to be the same one who rejected her a while ago for being ugly and now threatens to tell everyone how horrible she was. But Meyer yells at him to shut up, and Kyung Seok thinks about smashing his face in, although it's Sol who defends her to look like the good guy. Later, Go Yun throws a party at his house, and Meyer looks at him with a smile, and Kyung Seok burns with jealousy. When she's washing the dishes, Kyung Seok offers to take care of her hands, but he can't even open the dish soap, so Meyer ends up washing them. Kyung Seok can't take his eyes off Meyer, so he asks her if she wants to go to the movies with him. She of course agrees and buys all kinds of lipsticks and makeup, obsessed with looking prettier for Kyung Seok. But they turn out to be too expensive, and she runs out of money. Later, Sua wants to go to the movies with Kyung Seok, but he tells her his heart is already taken by Meyer. She's very nervous because the time is approaching and becomes mesmerized by Kyung Seok's body, wanting to lick him until she runs out of saliva. The two enter the movie, and Meyer can't stop staring. She imagines the girl next door is Sua and freaks out, hitting a man she thinks is flirting with him. But her eyes wander back to Kyung Seok and their hands bump as they go to eat popcorn. Afterward, they have dinner together, and when Meyer comes back from the bathroom, she overhears a girl saying that Kyung Seok's girlfriend must be a supermodel because he's so cute. But when they see it's her, they're shocked and laugh, which makes her feel even more insecure. Since they only have one umbrella, Meyer tells Kyung Seok to use it, but he doesn't allow it and touches her hand to ask her to share it. The two are increasingly hanging out, and for the first time, Kyung Seok gets nervous and tells Meyer that he's made peace with his mother thanks to her. Then, the two turn around and look at each other lovingly, but Meyer feels insecure and decides to just let him be her friend. Meanwhile, Sua confesses to Meyer that Kyung Seok likes her and that it's not fair that she has had surgery because natural people have a harder time being with a guy. You can see how he's showing his true colors. After this, Meyer begins to think she doesn't deserve Kyung Seok, who convinces his sister to reunite with their mother after so many years without seeing her, and after shedding millions of tears, their family is happy again. Afterward, Kyung Seok tries to confess his feelings to Meyer, but she is cold toward him and breaks his heart. Kyung Seok asks her why she's angry, but Meyer ignores him. Then, Meyer's unpleasant boss finds out that she got facial surgery and asks Kyung Seok if she also got breast and butt surgery, to which Kyung Seok responds by punching him, resetting windows. The two get into an argument in front of everyone, and Meyer tries to calm Kyung Seok down, but he's out of his mind and hits him so hard that he ends up in the police station. There they tell him they'll only let him go if he apologizes to Meyer's boss, but Kyung Seok can't do it because no one hurts their beloved and says she deserves it. Then, the bastard insults Kyung Seok, and Meyer calls him a bastard and gets him fired. After this, his mother picks him up, and Meyer begins to cry because everyone treats her badly, but Kyung Seok tells her he'll always be by her side and walks her home. Meyer asks him why he's so nice to her, and before she leaves, Kyung Seok grabs her arm and confesses with all his heart that he loves her. But Meyer pushes his hand away and tells him that their relationship is impossible. Kyung Seok asks how she can say that if everything he does is for her, but Meyer tells him that she only sees him as a friend, not because she doesn't love him, but because her heart is still hurt and she's too insecure. This affects Kyung Seok, who completely changes his mood, doesn't look at her at school, and even changes his hair color, leaving everyone wondering what's wrong with him. Meanwhile, Suga takes the opportunity to tell Kyung Seok that she likes him, but he replies that she's a horrible person and would never be with her. Then, as a last chance, Suga throws herself into his arms, begging him to love her, but Myra appears, running away and standing in the middle of the rain, crying like a Magdalene. Kyung Seok protects her with his umbrella and his life and explains that he doesn't like Suga, repeating that he loves her. However, Myra rejects him again because if they get together, she'll be laughed at for being ugly. Kyung Seok tells her it doesn't matter what others say, but Myra doesn't want to relive the anxiety of being bullied again. So they cry in the rain, their hearts breaking, and when they meet up at school, Kyung Seok tells her he'll wait for her until she stops this nonsense. But the truth is, it's hard for him because he runs into Myra everywhere and suffers every time he sees her. Then, Goyeon asks Myra out on a date and tells her she likes her, but Myra rejects him because her heart belongs to Kyung Seok. Still, she apologizes because she's always been rejected and knows how painful it is. Goyeon tells him to follow his heart because that's where the truth of love lies, and his heart points to Kyung Seok, who happens to be watching them and gets even angrier. Because of this, Kyung Seok starts getting drunk and drinks so much that even at work he smells like alcohol, and everyone notices. His mother begs him to stop drinking. Meanwhile, Soo-ae announces in front of everyone that she likes Kyung Seok, but he asks her to stop obsessing over him because he loves Myra. She finally realizes that it was all a plan by Soo-ae to break them up, not because she likes Kyung Seok, but because she can't stand the fact that there's a girl more famous and beautiful than her. So Soo-ae is an unhappy woman obsessed with beauty. She even makes herself throw up to become thinner, but in reality, she's just getting sicker and sicker. Myra finally understands that she's worthy of being loved by Kyung Seok. So she tells him she likes him, and Kyung Seok, of course, loves her back. He asks if they should hold hands, and Myra tells him she'd love to. So the two become boyfriend and girlfriend. They go out together, they feel affectionate, but when a classmate finds out, they lie and say they're friends and decide to keep their relationship a secret. As a result, they send each other dirty texts in class, and when they meet in public for dinner, Myra has to go to the bathroom because he's too horny. But of course, some friends show up, and Kyung Seok says he's eating alone so he won't get caught. The two even buy masks to go around in public incognito and avoid being caught, but they realize it's not working and they're getting sadder and sadder. Her partner tries to seduce Kyung Seok again, but Myra tells her to get her own boyfriend, and she finally confesses in front of the entire school that they're dating. Myra's nervous because she's on dates alone at home and doesn't quite know how to act. Kyung Seok gets burned, and Myra pours water on him to treat the wound and goes to get some ice, but Kyung Seok doesn't want her to leave. He hugs her from behind, wrapping his body around her, and tells her he loves her, but suddenly there's a strange noise. It turns out Kyung Seok made Myra a cake for her birthday. Myra tells him that he's her biggest wish. They then visit her old school, where Myra was bullied, and discover that her name is still drawn next to a pig's head. All the bad memories come flooding back, tormenting her. But now Kyung Seok is by her side to support her and give her love. He plays basketball with some kids, and Myra cheers him on like crazy, telling him she's happy to be in school and that they met. Later, they make love at a movie theater, and a man tells them they shouldn't touch each other in public, but Myra yells at him to be quiet, and the man backs down because he thinks Myra is going to kill him. Myra decides they're going to live their love freely, and Kyung Seok tells her she's very brave as he leans close to her face to smell her scent. Myra then tells him they should go to her house, but Kyung Seok realizes they're alone and is embarrassed. Kyung Seok doesn't know whether to talk to Myra or tear her clothes off, so he accepts a drink. While changing clothes, Kyung Seok sees a picture of her when she was little, and Myra tries to take it away from him. The two argue over the picture and are about to kiss, and Myra gets really angry with Kyung Seok and asks him not to look at it. Myra then asks him how he loves her if he knows what she looked like before, but Kyung Seok says some kind words to her. You are you, and it doesn't matter what you looked like before because your heart is what made me fall in love. So Myra lets him see her photo for 3 seconds, and when she pulls away, she thinks he's going to break up with her, but instead, Kyung Seok gives her a passionate kiss that turns him on, and the two of them continue kissing even more passionately. Myra asks if they should go to bed, and Kyung Seok gets nervous, but Myra says he didn't mean tuki-tuki, but sleep. Kyung Seok tells her he'll be her guardian until she falls asleep. When Myra is left alone, she jumps with excitement as if she's won the lottery. Kyung Seok enters her room to see her beauty once more, and suddenly Myra's mother knocks, but it's Kyung Seok who answers. Of course, He doesn't understand anything. His mother asks him if he's Myra's boyfriend, to which Kyung Seok proudly replies that he is. His father finds out and warns him that there are cameras in every room and that if he dares to be disrespectful in his house, he'll find out. Kyung Seok gets worried and nervously starts looking for the cameras, worried that Myra's parents won't accept him. But Myra tells him that there are no such cameras and that her parents will love him just as they love her because they know their happiness depends on it. Then, intimate photos of Soo-ae spread online, and she notices a mysterious boy following her. Soo-ae gets increasingly frantic, but the stalker appears and closes the door, so she can't escape. Soo-ae discovers that the boy has been watching her everywhere and is obsessed with her. Soo-ae tries to escape, but the stalker knocks her to the ground and shows her a bottle of acid to disfigure her face. Kyung Seok discovers this and kicks him, knocking him out. At that moment, Soo-ae thinks she's become ugly, and Myra tells her the bottle is only for water, but Soo-ae still tries to cut her throat. Myra convinces her, but Soo-ae asks her why she keeps pretending to be prettier than her. Myra tells her to stop comparing beauty, because being prettier doesn't mean being happier. He explains that obsessing over beauty only leads to unhappiness, and that what you have inside, and the friends you make are what ultimately endure in your heart and in your life. Then, after a few days, Soo-ae recovers and begins to behave better, apologizing to all the people he hurt in the past. Afterward, Myra and Kyung Seok feel like heroes. They pass their exams, and Kyung Seok starts working as a waiter. His friends can't believe he's so attractive, but that's not all, because Kyung Seok wears a card on his chest that says, "I have a girlfriend." Later, they even match their hoodies, but Myra can't remember his birthday and acts angry. Myra then plans a honeymoon trip that turns out to be a surprise for her birthday, and after singing to her in front of everyone, they take a photo that reflects their complete happiness. Afterward, they look at the scenery. Myra confesses that when she was out on the street, she always noticed the beauty of others, but now she doesn't care anymore. Kyung Seok then confesses that he didn't want to get married because of his parents' marriage, but now that he's met her, he's determined to marry her and start a family. The kiss they share strengthens their connection and drives away the sadness in their hearts. Myra finally understands that beauty is fleeting, like a flower that withers over time. What truly endures is the sincerity of our hearts and the genuine words we speak to those we love. That's what truly counts, not superficial appearances, but a sincere hug from someone you love, which lights up your life like the morning sun. And hey, if you like the video, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss a single video.